Hi, and welcome to Missouri Athletic Club Connections, a podcast highlighting Missouri's only premier athletic club. The MAC is recognized as the foremost private club in St. Louis, known for attracting exceptional people and enriching lives for generations. I'm MAC Membership Director Rodney Stoyer, and today we're going to chat with leaders from the beneficiaries of the MAC's 2025 Charitable Society for Children ahead of Meet the Charities Night at the West Clubhouse on February 19th at 6 o'clock. We'll talk to representatives from Butterfly Kisses Alliance, KidSmart STL, and Books for STL Kids. Here with me from Books for STL Kids is Bree Muehlbauer, their VP of Grants. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Good, wonderful. So for starters, tell us a little bit about your organization and specifically what makes it unique here in St. Louis.
Sure, thank you. Books for STL Kids' mission is to inspire the love of reading by increasing access to brand new, high-quality books for children from under-resourced families. We work with children for whom books simply aren't a necessity, especially when they're deciding between buying clothes or food. So for many of these kids, they don't have home libraries. They don't have access to high-quality brand new books. So we work with recipient groups that work with these families so that we can make sure that those books get into the hands of the children who need them most and deserve them. Our sweet spot is really that pre-K to early education.
Yeah. I like that when you said about the most served, because obviously that's when reading is key, correct?
Right.
So you're really hitting that key time period. So that's definitely who you're serving, that age bracket
right.
most?
I mean, we work with kids from birth to 18 years old.
Sure.
You know, as you know, those early years are so critical to build literacy.
And so again, from a programming and service, what really sets you apart? I mean, every now and then you'll hear about book drives or this school library is trying to do something. What makes you different or what sets you apart from some of those things?
Well, we are, firstly, a fully volunteer-run organization.
Great.
So we have no staff. It's all of our board members rolling up their sleeves and working out there. And we have two main programs that we get books out to children who need them. We have our grants program, and we run that 2 times a year where recipient groups can apply to us to receive a grant so that they can purchase brand new books.
Yeah.
And we work with some partner organizations that help to provide those books at a significantly reduced rate. So our recipient groups can use that grant to purchase the books that are best for their kids, the ones that have the characters and the authors that represent those children, that have the interests that those children are wanting to read about.
Yeah.
And then our other big program, which you may have heard of, is our largest book party. And the largest book party is a reading celebration.
Yeah.
We, for many years, have held it at the James J. Egan Center and Florissant. And we have community members who come out and read stories to children, police officers and firefighters and librarians. And then the kids get a snack and they get to choose books to take home and start their own home libraries. The last couple of years, we've been able to actually hold a second largest book party at the Cardinal Stadium, which has been really fun.
Yeah, well, the party is obviously wonderful, but I think I agree with you. What sets you apart is that when you're doing the books, number one, I guess, which is really noteworthy, is what the library needs or what the school needs or what the students need, as opposed to just, well, we have these books. Here, take these books. So it's really what they need. But then I like that brokerage option, right? If you're giving them the funds to buy the books, you're not just saying, go out and buy them whole, retail price.
Right.
We're also giving you a source to get the books that you want at a reasonable price as well.
And the organizations that we've been working with, First Book, and we're starting a new partnership, by establishing that account for those recipient groups, there are many other opportunities. So it's really us connecting them to resources as well.
So even beyond the initial connection.
That's right.
Lasting relationship is very important as well. Well, that's all wonderful. We love the good news. What's the biggest challenge you face right now into carrying out the mission?
Well, as I said, we are 100% volunteer run.
Right.
So volunteers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
In addition to those two main programs, we are constantly getting requests to come to events and have a table where we can pass out books to children. So there's always a call for volunteer for those day events.
Yeah.
And we're also always looking for new board members. We're small and mighty, and we're looking for great resources as we continue to grow as an organization.
Yeah, well, and that's wonderful too, because again, we're going to keep talking about our Meet the Charities night that's coming up very soon. But we're really trying to stress the fact that we don't want to be that club that just says, well, here's your check and we'll see you later. We're finding that more and more of our members want to get involved. And so I really like that. That's an opportunity. A lot of our younger members want to get involved in things like this. So that's great that you're looking for those volunteers and you have a place for them to do that. So
Absolutely.
Love to hear that. Absolutely. So as a 2025 Charitable Society for Children charity, all year long, our Charitable Society for Children will be raising funds for your organization. And then in January of 2026, we'll host the annual check presentation party and give that check back. So how will you use those funds? How will you use the funds that the Charitable Society gives to you?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for that generosity.
Yeah, certainly.
It's incredible. We simply can't do what we do without that kind of support.
Yeah.
And so you are going to help us reach more kids. We are going to be able to fill more requests for books. We're going to be able to invite more children to our largest book party. Every single year we have tons more requests than we can ever fill.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so this is helping to expand our reach in the greater St. Louis area.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful because, again, the party's a wonderful cause, but that's got to be hard to have to leave people out. So hopefully we can make that closer and closer to not leaving anyone out.
That's right. Every single year, there's deserving folks that come through. And so we do try to continue to work with those recipient groups to help them develop their grant application and continue to invite them to apply. And the more we are able to grant out and we truly feel it's important to fully fund requests when they come through. So that is our goal.
Sure. Wonderful opportunity there. Love that. Now, speaking of the volunteer opportunities and how you can use people, how can our members find out directly? They can contact you directly. Where can they learn more specifically about your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do find us at our website, booksforstlkids.org. And we have a Facebook page. We also have a trivia night every year.
Oh, yeah.
And we host our holiday breakfast at MAC West. So that will be out there in December, and we do invite anyone to come and join us for those events and learn more about what we do.
Fantastic. Just love to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Anything else we haven't talked about? Anything else we should know before we sign off?
Well, I do want to reiterate that the books that the children receive go home with them. We work with the recipient groups, but to us it's so important that these books are starting a home library for these kids. If you think about, I think about my own daughter, and every single holiday, every single excuse I have, she's getting a new book, right? They're there for her whenever she wants them. We read every night. For a lot of these kids, that isn't an option.
Right.
And so when they have these brand new books that are in their hand, it's that special spark that starts their love for reading and has ripple effects across their success in school and in life and even within their communities, right? If they bring those books home, their little brother has access to those books. Their parents
stays in the family.
Them. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it has these ripple effects in the community.
That is truly unique. We have done it before where we've done a limited book drive for a library. Well, that's, again, I'm not saying that is a wonderful cause. That's great. But putting the book in the kids' hands and it's theirs, that's pretty special. Yeah. That really is.
Absolutely.
We hope our members will come out and meet your team.
Please
I think
do.
you're going to have some people there on February 19th. That'll be the great chance to learn more. Our members can come out and meet someone from your team. I'm assuming a volunteer. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So come meet a volunteer
That's
and
right.
maybe join them in volunteering. And that'll be a wonderful opportunity. So we look forward to seeing someone then.
Great. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on with us.
Anytime.
Kayla Hollingshead from Butterfly Kisses, as well as Jenny Koskela. So, ladies, welcome. I'm so glad that you can be here with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, let's start. Why don't you tell me a little bit about Butterfly Kisses? I got to tell you first off that until I became a girl dad, I didn't even know what that phrase meant. I do now. I know exactly what it means.
Good.
But tell us a little bit about your organization.
Sure. Yeah, so we are a group of 4 nurses that decided back in 2023 that we wanted to offer more support to families that have experienced the loss of a baby, whether that be through miscarriage, stillbirth, or infant death. And so we got together outside of the hospital and said we want to do more. So we came together, formed Butterfly Kisses Alliance, and have been running ever since.
Never looked back.
Nonstop, it sounds
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
One of our biggest things that we do to offer that support is send comfort kits free of charge to families. So provided in those kits are journals, grief affirmation cards, candles, some self-care items, and then a couple books for both moms and dads that are geared towards infant loss.
Sure.
They're actually, there's a mom book and a dad book. And so the mom book is called You Are Not Alone, which kind of fits our motto. And it's letters from lost moms to lost moms.
Oh, yeah.
And the dad book is called Father to Father, and it's the same
principle.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
But unique situations. Clearly,
Correct.
we're not grieving the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of a look into other people, how they grieve, what they experienced, how they felt, how they dealt with it, and just really bringing that sense of togetherness of, you're not alone, you're not doing this alone, there is a whole community out there.
Right.
So we just kind of wanted to make sure that we were including both mom and dad, and that, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to experience this terrible, horrible, no
Right.
good, very bad experience
Right. By yourself.
by yourself.
Well, and let's go into that a little bit more. So when we say who do you serve or impact the most, or how does that work? You already started to say that you're specializing on, mom needs this, dad needs this. But does it go beyond that? Are you searching? Are you helping the larger family?
Yeah, very
who
much.
Are you serving?
So we kind of, because we are all nurses, we kind of see both sides of it. So we really wanted to provide support for the families outside of the hospital. We were having the experience of taking care of them in the hospital, but then it felt very much like we were sending them out into the world with nothing.
Sure.
So we wanted to be able to support them for years to come and help them to know that we still remember with you. We remember all the little things that, we experienced together. But also we want to provide support and education to providers. So we also have a lot of educational materials for physicians and nurses, doctors' offices, things like that, as well as the broader family. So we have information for siblings, sibling grief.
Siblings especially,
and
I'm sure.
grandparents.
Right.
And, because they're grieving twice. They're grieving the loss of their grandchild, but also they're grieving for their child.
Yeah.
So it's all very, complex. And we just kind of wanted to really be able to hone in on the things that we know so well and
Right.
experience every day and try to really just provide that support.
Right. Well, I think one of the things that when I heard about the charity and I heard the process going on, and I'm always a little behind the scenes and learning who we're picking, one of the comments that came up was, hey, we have one this year that's a slight bit different. But then the more we talked about it, the more I heard about it, it's like, well, no, it's not different because this is a charitable society for children. And, you can start with the very obvious fact that you are working with the siblings. You are working with those children.
Right.
Then you already mentioned it, the fact that, okay, grandma and grandpa are involved and
Right.
their children are experiencing this, who in some cases may still be very young, even if they're adult enough to have a family. So
Right.
it's really a departure, something different for the MAC or for the Charitable Society for Children, but just fits in wonderfully. I'm so happy that we're a part of this now. I
Well,
really
we appreciate that you guys were able to kind of look outside the box a little and see that, we are very much for the children.
Yes, absolutely.
Because everybody's a little bit of a child, right?
Well, and I think,
Child at heart.
for anyone who's been a parent at all or been through any process, the first time is always you just know nothing. It doesn't matter what. You're
It's
just not
so
prepared.
scary.
But then now you're talking about a curveball, right? I mean, so if you go through a perfectly normal, mundane, normal circumstance, that's still shocking to your system. It's still shocking to everyone. Now, when you throw a curveball at it, it's just entirely different.
Sure. And so that is now speaking to that point,
Yeah.
that is something else that we talk about and we have education for is that pregnancy after loss.
Yeah.
So
right.
let's say
Right.
your first experience in pregnancy is a loss, then you get pregnant again.
Correct.
You don't,
scared.
you're terrified
Right.
every minute of every day because you don't know when
What's
the other
gonna
shoe's
happen.
going to drop.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Or what normal should be.
Yeah,
Right.
because a lot what I've always in talking to people that are experiencing that pregnancy after loss is they don't want to get excited.
Sure.
They don't want to bond
Sure.
with that baby because they don't want to feel that excruciating loss again.
Right.
But then also they've never been this pregnant
hard.
before.
Yeah.
Right.
So they don't know.
It's always a new step.
Yes, is this pain normal? Is this
Right.
anything normal?
Right.
So
Well, wonderful extended care. I mean, that's just such an amazing program. So, we've gotten into a lot of these things, but let's talk with wonderful causes like this. And the reason our Charitable Society for Children does what it does is to get our whole membership and to get the community involved and understanding. So let's talk about needs. What are the biggest needs or maybe challenges affecting the mission and what you're doing? What can our members do? What can people do to help out?
So, the obvious need is always going to be, donations, whether they be monetary or we have an Amazon wish list where we, that's where we get most of our supplies
Right.
because it's
Because easy.
easiest.
It's
So
It's
easy.
easy and
Right.
it's fast. And, we have reached out to a lot of the suppliers to Amazon and they have, they give us discounts on items and
Yeah.
things like that, which is great. But aside from that, I would say just like spreading the word of our mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are newer, and it is surprising to us. I would say we were worldwide in less than a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So we've sent comfort kits to 49 states now, I believe.
Yeah.
9 countries.
Yeah.
That's incredible. In a year.
In a year.
In a year. It kind of took us by
So you
surprise.
quit your day jobs to do this, or
Surprisingly, no.
No, we just don't sleep.
you just say, okay, fair enough. That's
No.
fair. That's
Yeah.
I would say our biggest challenge is just being able to keep up with it, just because we are having to. As a nonprofit, we're constantly looking for donors and the funding to keep our mission going.
Right.
But we've had days where our name has been shared somewhere and has gone viral, and we'll get 200 plus comfort kit requests in a day.
Right.
And so, excuse me, just keeping up with,
Yeah.
Sure.
to be able to
keeping up with
respond.
that, and
Yeah, so that then we're of the mindset of we don't ever want to turn anyone away.
Oh, right.
That's
Right.
not in our
Right.
mind
Makeup
at all.
and
Like that.
things.
Yeah, that's not even.
No.
That was
Not an
never even
option.
an option. Correct.
Right,
Never
right,
an
right.
option.
yeah.
But on a day that we get 200 requests, now we're looking at shipping times for. Okay,
Right.
we have to order 200 books, which
Right.
we order, or 400 books,
$400, yeah.
which we order from the author. And this poor woman, I think she prints her books only for us because she has to be exhausted. But, so that takes a couple weeks. And we like to get them turned around within the same week if we
Oh,
can.
sure. Of course.
We don't want anybody
Time
to
is
have to
important
wait.
in that.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So I think that is
Well,
probably.
it sounds like you're partially a logistics company as well.
Correct.
Right,
We are
right.
learning all about shipping
Yep.
and weather affecting shipping.
Yes.
And we're learning a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What boxes are better than others and what tape holds.
Right. Best value, all
Yes.
that fun
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Agree.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things we started a little while ago, and I'm so happy we do it, and I hope you're as excited about it as our members are, but we're going to have our Meet the Charities night coming up. So again, I want to stress that date and time. It's 6 o'clock on February 19th. We'll have you available to meet with our members, to chat about your mission, to chat about what you do. It's one of the best things we can do for the club as opposed to just putting something in writing and saying, here's our charity for the year. So that's wonderful, and I hope you're as thrilled and excited about coming to that as we're going to be.
We're
thrilled
very
to have
excited.
you.
Yes.
Absolutely. But we have just a little plug for our Charitable Society for Children and how wonderful it's grown. We've actually raised almost $500,000. It started, these are stats that we've had with our children's charities over the past 20 years. We're very, very proud of that. But specifically, what will you be able to use these dollars that we're going to donate to your charity? How do you see those being used and supporting your growth, for example?
Yeah, so I would say that the funds are just going to help us continue our mission and let us continue to provide those kits across the world. Like Jenny had said, we're in 9 different countries and 49 states so far, exactly. And so our hope is really to just reach as many people as we can, because there's still so many people out there that need our support, and the funds and donations will just really help us to continue to serve those people. So
and reach. So bottom line is reach, as opposed to you've got a great formula, you've developed what's working. It's being able to just reach more people.
Just being able to let everyone know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
You know, that we see them, we understand, I would say, their experience, and that there's other people, you know, bringing them. We do have events a couple times a year. One of them is our butterfly walk, which we always hold on Bereaved Mother's Day, which is the Sunday before Mother's Day. So having that walk really has allowed us to kind of bring a community together. So these families are meeting other families that have experienced this same thing, and you know, they're kind of forming a community, and they're talking to each other, and they're, you know, being able to share their experiences. So that's something else that we really feel very strongly about.
Yeah. And it's obviously universal. Obviously, another big part of that, aside from the funds, is what you said with the reach. Is our hope, obviously, is that we're going to reach all of our membership.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to reach a large number of people, and then, you know, again, someone always has a niece in Texas or a sister in Oklahoma or whatever, and that's where that reach grows as well.
The statistics are staggering. I mean, 1 in 4 women has experienced some type of loss. Yeah. So, you know, statistically, there's no one that doesn't know someone that has experienced this. Yeah. So, and with the stigma, you know, around talking about pregnancy and infant loss, a lot of people don't talk about it. They don't. They don't think they can talk about it. It's kind of taboo, and we want to just demolish all of that. You know, tell me what your baby's name was. Tell me how much he weighed. Tell me all the little things. Is, you know, that's how we are. We want to know.
Wonderful. And obviously it's working. That's the good news. So tell us real quick, tell our viewers and listeners, how can members find you directly? Obviously, Meet the Charity Night.
Yes.
Great way. But how else can they reach out and find you?
So you can go to our website, which is www.butterflykissesalliance.org. And then we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
And
we're new to TikTok, so bear with us.
It's all right.
And on there, we are just Butterfly Kisses Alliance.
Butterfly Kisses Alliance. Perfect. That's wonderful. Well, again, we hope our members come out. That's why we're doing this when we're doing it. Please come out. Please meet these lovely ladies, as well as our other charities.
Yes.
Please meet everybody again on February 19th. Any last-minute things, anything we didn't discuss that you want to make sure we get out to our listeners?
I don't think so. We're excited and can't wait to chat with everybody.
Yeah, and just say thank you for giving us the opportunity, for, you know, letting us get our name out there and
continuing to serve.
Yeah, serving the mission.
With me now are representatives from KidSmart STL. Abby Enlund, the VP of Philanthropy and Development, and Mike Smith, the VP of Operations. Thank you both for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Great. Well, let's start. Tell me a little bit about your organization and specifically what makes it unique here in St. Louis.
Yeah, so KidSmart's mission is to empower students in need to succeed in school by providing free essential tools for learning. We really believe that our mission is paramount to ensuring access to high-quality education for kids that need it the most. We strongly believe that a good education, quality education, is a critical piece to breaking that cycle of poverty that are faced by so many kids in our communities. So we're currently serving all pre-K through 12th grade high-need students in the St. Louis area. That's 90,000 kids throughout our communities. That fills Busch Stadium 2 times. So the scale of that is pretty incredible. And we're meeting that need all throughout the year with the supplies that they need in their classroom to really access education.
Yeah, and one of the things I was talking about earlier with some people was that when we do our Charitable Society for Children, you qualify, so to speak, as one of the larger organizations. Now, not globally or national, none of that. It's just large because of scope, right? It's just literally the scope of what you're dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. And we stick with our teachers all throughout the year. So we're not just providing one pencil or one, supply or one drop off at a school. We're really providing teachers an opportunity to come back and get what they need month after month because we know these supplies are consumable and the need is continuous throughout the school year.
Well, I think that's huge. I mean, who doesn't do the whole, we're getting our kids backpacks for the year, let's grab some things for the school, but that always happens in the fall, right? That's the only time those kind of things happen.
Yeah.
So you're really taking care of that need all year long, all school year long.
Yeah. And in 2025, we're really excited to see our free store reopen at our warehouse in Maryland Heights. So teachers will be able to come into the free store once a month and purchase, I say purchase, but it's free, right?
Sure.
Up to $1,000 in value every month. And they can really customize what they're looking for. So if they have a specific science activity they know they want to do, they can find those materials. If they have a child that's kind of advanced out of their classroom library and they need more specialized books for that kiddo, they can pick those out from our free store. It looks just like a back to school section, at Target or a Barnes and Noble library section, children's section. So we really enable the teachers to customize for their kids in their classroom.
Well, this goes to the next question I was going to ask about, who do you serve and impact the most? But let's talk about that because obviously it sounds like two different sides where one is making sure an individual student is taken care of. A teacher can do that. But then the other side is the classroom, right? So project specific or really helping her whole classroom or his whole classroom. So talk a little more about that and how that directly impacts.
Sure, yeah. So we want to make sure that every student in the classroom has what they need.
Sure.
And the great thing about what we do for KidSmart is we equip every single child, so there's no stigmatism. You can afford it, your parent family can't afford it.
Sure.
Everyone gets the supplies that they need because we equip the teacher and then in the classroom.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing that we found. It helps with self-esteem throughout the students, and they're not that child that couldn't afford a backpack or couldn't afford the supplies they needed.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful approach to doing that. So again, I think we've talked about the main programming, but also how are you set apart? Because again, I mentioned that it's back to school time and Walmart is doing a program or somebody's doing something. What sets you apart?
Yeah, so you see a lot of nonprofits that will have a supply drive or come get a backpack, to help a family out at back to school time. And we just really focus on ensuring that we're in partnership with the schools throughout the entire year. So those teachers can come back to us again and again, like I said, once a month through our drive-through distribution days, through our free store once it's open. We have park and pickups where they can come to the building and pick up what they need. We have a lot of different opportunities for the teachers to really access the supplies that they need, the books, the math manipulatives, the science materials, those art supplies, all of those different pieces go into the classroom supplies that we're providing. We also are really proud, again, of that 90,000 students that we're reaching.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just not that many nonprofits in St. Louis that are impacting that many kiddos every single year. We're not leaving kids behind. And all of the schools that we have partnerships with, as Mike said, are at that 70% or higher threshold where they have that many kiddos that are enrolled in the free and reduced lunch program. So we are really hitting those communities where we know the support is needed the most.
Right. And I think, again, as somebody who's happy to support, I mean, most families do want to support that. But, the naivete is for me to say, well, I bought a box of pencils and I got a ream of paper for you, that should do it, right? Yeah. And clearly that's not it. That's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, just think about your own kids at home. How often those pencils, wear out and the notebook gets filled up or the crayons get broken. Those are consumable things. And so those teachers are coming back again and again, seeking out those supplies. And Mike mentioned the self-esteem component to it. And I just want to really hit on for a second, a lot of our schools were finding, those big pink erasers are a critical piece. Yeah. And you wouldn't think of that. But imagine a classroom that has one dedicated eraser at the teacher's desk. And so every time as a 7-year-old and you're practicing your letters, you make a mistake. You have to
walk up
raise your
front.
hand and ask for permission to use the eraser to correct and fix that mistake. Like the social or the
That's
the
what I was gonna
impact
say.
and the
That's
mental
a cultural
health.
change there. Yes,
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
big way.
So we're providing every kid with that big pink eraser, so they have all the freedom to make those mistakes and be creative and challenge themselves without fear of their peers questioning, their skills and ability.
Oh, I love that approach, definitely. Well, now let's talk about your needs. So what are your biggest needs? What challenges are you facing to carry out this mission, so that we can best support you here at the MAC?
So we can take for every $35 that we donates, we can turn that to do at least a 5-time ROI on that product.
Yeah.
And we have great partners as far as in-kind donations. We partner with some retailers to special pricings and things like that. So those are all great things to have. Other ways, every year we do a Push for Pencil drive, which is basically a supply drive in the back to school time. Push for Pencil, Push for Change. That's a great time to get involved, get your organization involved, get your company involved, your employees involved, in giving back and collecting those supplies. We talked about those for back to school. We have corporate sponsorships throughout the year. We do events throughout the entire year. We're just right now in the middle of our Light Up for Learning season, which is kind of that replenishment time. So we've had a lot of different events and distribution events and teacher push-ins and things like that to schools that companies can get involved in as well. So, I think there's more than just one way. Volunteering, because we need volunteers. We're a very small staff. We're a staff of 7. So it's really about the volunteers. Last year we had over 5,000 volunteers into our organization and help out and throughout the entire year. So if it wasn't for people throughout St. Louis and those volunteers, we couldn't do, and those students would get the things they need.
Yep. Well, that's a great way to kind of summarize that. Obviously, again, like I said earlier, we can ask individuals to get you a box of pencils. Financial is important because you can probably, 2 boxes of pencils for every one I bring you, if you have the actual cash and the resources to do that. And then volunteer, because we always forget that. It's not just a simple job and, they all come to you. You need the volunteer support as well. So that's very important. So as one of our 2025 Charitable Society for Children charities, all year long, we're going to be participating, trying to raise funds for your organization as well as raising money in general. But we have a few things coming up. So we're going to host our annual check presentation. So we are going to give you those funds. The Charitable Society for Children is going to give you that, jumbo-sized check to go towards the organization.
We like those.
So let's talk about that. How specifically are you going to use those funds? You mentioned a few things, but does that go to a general account overall? Is it going to be used to replenish supplies? What can our members see those funds being used for specifically?
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's help us replenish supplies. We're in that time of the year right now. We have the big back to school drive. We have those supplies come in, and just the back to school awareness helps our organization. But now's that time when a child, they have a science project and they need some poster board. Right? And they can't just go to the store. Their parents may not have the ability to do that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of things that we can use those funds to help. The pencils get broken, pencils get replenished. We need that. The notebooks get used up. We want them to get used up, and that's what we want kids to feel very comfortable. Abby mentioned about, students sharing supplies. We try to eliminate that because that's, that can be deflating, Exactly. So that's exactly what we would use the funds for, is to continue throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah. Well, I know we're going to also post some other things. We've done some social media things as well, but how can our members find you directly if they do want to volunteer, if they do want to do those types of things?
Sure, yeah. So website, KidSmart STL.com, .org. It's natural you say .com for everything. Yeah. .org. We're on all the social medias as well. So KidSmart STL on Facebook, LinkedIn, all the natural.
Yep. And if they want to volunteer, they can reach out to you directly.
Yes.
Yeah,
we have a link right there on the website, and look at all the opportunities that we have.
Yeah, wonderful. That's great news, too. So we also hope that everyone comes to our Meet the Charities night. That's coming up February 19th. You're going to be there as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So our members love that. They love learning from you directly, not just listening to us here at the club tout you. But they can come meet you face-to-face. And obviously, that'll be a wonderful experience. Anything else you want our members to know about KidSmart STL?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to connecting with all of the MAC members at the upcoming events throughout the year. I really hope when we connect, they're able to see our passion for education, for ensuring that equitable access to education for all of our kiddos here in St. Louis. And like Mike mentioned, all of the different opportunities to connect with us, from volunteering to joining our Head of Class Society, to get those exclusive invites to the mission immersion events and, the behind the scene tours and things like that. And then the corporate support as well. That 5 times ROI, when you donate $35 and sponsor a student for a school year for $35, we turn that into $175 in supplies.
Right.
And we do that through in-kind gift support. And so we have so many partnerships with corporations around St. Louis and around the country that are providing us with the supplies that we need. And it's everything from, boxes of tissue that during cold and flu season fly out of those classrooms at a rate you wouldn't imagine, to those basic consumable supplies. And so you just never know when your company might have something sitting around that they don't need, that might be a great asset to a classroom. So we would welcome any conversation for any way that a corporation or an individual would like to get involved.
Wonderful. Wonderful to hear. So again, thank you both so much for coming here, and can't wait to see you again on February 19th.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.